Welcome to Chicago.
My name is Mary Pat Huffman. I'm the Executive Vice President of Convention and Strategic Alliances for the National Restaurant Association. I'm here at the 2016 National Restaurant Association Restaurant Hotel Motel Show in Chicago. This is our 97th year in producing the National Restaurant Association show, and the big draw is it is everything you could possibly find within a food service entity, whether it's a sit-down restaurant or a fast casual restaurant or a food truck. Any kind of food, furnishings, product you need, or equipment to provide food for consumers is here. We have 2,200 exhibitors demonstrating and showing more than 900 different types of products. So when you think about trends and what consumers are interested in and what is hitting the mainstream, Asian noodles are very popular, and all different kind of taste profiles are interesting to the consumer. From a Thai curry and lime to a Szechuan to a Vietnamese pho. Interesting, right? I mean, there's all sorts of phos going on. There's craft beverages, whether alcohol or soft drinks. S&D Coffee has a delightful sparkling iced tea. Really refreshing. Sweet potato flavoring remains hot. We have sweet potato vodka here at the NRA show. So we're seeing, all sorts of profiles put together that you wouldn't necessarily think about. How does chili pepper infused honey sound? To really get that combo and confuse your palate and interest you.
In a very good way.
In a very good way. Yeah, tantalizing, if you will. So some of our speakers are Kimball Musk from The Kitchen. He's based out of Denver, but he also has restaurants in Chicago and Memphis. And his whole premise is around real food and starting gardens in schools and teaching kids how to grow food and about real food, and then using that produce in his own restaurants. On Sunday, we have Reality Gets Real with Robert Irvine and John Taffer talking about some of the things they have seen in real life in restaurants and how they are helping restaurant operators succeed. I tell you, if you enjoy food, you will enjoy a trip to the NRA show because it's every type of food you can imagine and every type of flavoring put together that you wouldn't imagine. So you name it, you will see it, and you'll be inspired, and you'll say, what? That's fabulous.
Kay Logston, editor of Food Channel. NRA show is a ton of fun, but it's a lot of work, and it really makes you appreciate all that goes into restaurants that make us so happy when we go out to eat.
Absolutely. It is a lot of fun because we run into people that we see from year to year and we reconnect. But everyone is definitely here to make sure that they're selling what they have to sell. One of the things that we've been talking about for quite a while is robotics in the food industry and what's happening there. And we're seeing those robotics now in some of the equipment that's being offered even to the smaller restaurants. We're seeing some food flavor innovation, things like a rice bran. It's a rice bran oil, so it has a high heat point. It's considered healthier by some. It's a different kind of thing. So innovation in packaging, in equipment, and in food is a lot of what we're seeing.
Among the things you're seeing, some really interesting flavors.
Well, the flavors seem to change from year to year. What's really popular? A few years ago, we saw a lot of citrus coming up to bear, and now we're seeing pineapple. So pineapple has really come into its own and is a big part of some of the flavors. The other big flavor we're seeing is pistachio. So pistachio nut as a flavor, not just as the nut included in things. We're seeing it in everything from gelato to main dishes. So that's kind of interesting. We're also seeing some different things when it comes to apps. So apps have become a mainstay of the food industry. There's a really interesting one that allows you to rate your server and pay your tip, and that helps the restaurateur keep track of it for tax purposes, but it goes directly to the server. So it's an interesting innovation. Is just one of the most fascinating things that we find at the show across all categories.
I am going to talk to your Trends and Insights expert, Locke Hildebrand, here in just a minute. But first of all, what is one of the favorite things that you've eaten here at the show that you've never tried before?
Okay, one of my favorite things was this gelato. It's called Perla del Sur, and it's pistachios, almonds, and lemon. and it was an amazing flavor. So new flavors in gelato.
Biggest thing I've seen this year is a focus on kids' nutrition. So non-GMO, organic, even refrigerated baby food is a thing that I've seen this year that I thought was really crazy. Looking at water and how a lot of places are starting to use oils of fruits to flavor water instead of the actual fruit juice because they can remove the sugar from it and they can, make it healthier.
One of the interesting things that we've tasted is a salmon bacon, served either hot or cold. It ties directly into the Native American food trends that we've been predicting for a while, and we're seeing that come to full force here.
I've been watching it on the uptick for about 2 years now, and it's always been very mom and pop focused, and we haven't seen it really in a lot of stores. But getting here and seeing an entire pavilion section of Native American foods has just been crazy. We haven't really seen a ton of chocolate. And it's sort of making, a couple of us wonder, well, the craft candy bar boom, has it sort of like hit its peak and, are people like going, okay, so what's the next thing after the candy bar? So that's going to be something that's going to be worth watching out for as well.
There's even a mouthwash dispenser at the NRA show. That's new.
Yeah, there is, and that's one of those innovation pieces that might start showing up in your restaurant at home. In the same way that the hand sanitizer dispensers have popped up everywhere, this mouthwash dispenser is really kind of interesting. Might save a lot of conversations.
Okay, when we come to this show, we tend to eat a lot. You have actually kept a list. What have you had to eat, Kay Logsdon?
I've kept a partial list. It starts every morning with a Nathan's hot dog. But I then moved on to a Belgian waffle. I had oatmeal, gumbo, slice of pizza, glacier spring water, Cuban coffee, mango tea, apple empanadas, a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie, Oaxaca cheese, a pistachio gelato, a turtle custard, a sous vide steak, a lots of fruit-infused water. I had Belgian fries, a microgreen that was a popcorn shoot that tasted like sweet corn, meat straws, venison, olives from Turkey, Turkish delight, Hearst chips, calamari, edamame spaghetti, cheesecake in an ice cream cone, Brussels sprouts are still hot, kombucha tea, several things of steak, including grass-fed, salmon bacon, a bone broth, a sweet potato cranberry veggie patty, lots of pineapple, and that is just a partial list.
The bar show is beverage alcohol for restaurants at the NRA show. But it is its own standalone event and absolutely focused on all of the activities, products, and trends that happen in a bar.
So this is an egg white substitute. So I'm seeing if it'll separate, and this is holding corn.
The bar show is a more intimate and boutique event with 100 exhibitors with all sorts of different alcohol products and some critical bar necessities that align with glassware or bitters or mixers that you would need to construct your bar program.
And the bar is a huge, important part of a good restaurant.
It can be anywhere from, if you have a bar, it can be anywhere from 15% of your revenue to as much as 30%. If you are a bar within a restaurant. So it just depends on how much focus, how much space is allocated to it, and how you have designed it to align with your menu and your brand. So this year there's just an awful lot about mixology. Mixologists are the culinarians of the bar world, and they really are very similar to the chef behind Dove in the Kitchen. That's where there's a lot of creativity in bringing new cocktails to market. And you're seeing lots around sparkling sodas, sparkling water, different mixers than we have seen traditionally. Tea is becoming a new base and mixer within cocktails. We have an exhibitor that has a whole different inventory of bitters. They traditionally were orange bitters. There's some sweet, there are some savory. They have lavender flavors, Szechuan flavor bitters. I mean, there's a real host of bitters that can now be used in a cocktail. Not necessarily so unusual, but very important and relatively new is all the different kind of ice offerings, one by ones. What kind of ice goes with what kind of drink? If it's sparkling, it's one kind of ice. If it's depending on what kind of spirit it is. There's this whole science to the type of ice, the form of the ice that goes with the drink. We're also seeing here in the bar show infused ice. So just like we see water, water pitchers with cucumber in it or fruit, they're infusing that into ice, and so that also changes the delivery, not only the delivery, but the flavor profile. The variety of mixology demos that we have seen on the show is so exciting for what consumers are going to be able to be treated to in their local establishments, and it's all here at the bar event at NRA Show. Cheers.
Well, I'm Joe Manlove, and I'm from Reinhart Food Service in Springfield, Missouri. Well, what we are is we're a distributor. We obviously buy products from manufacturers and warehouse the product and then distribute it to our customers over basically a 4-state area. Most of these items are all specified products with our chains. They tell us what to buy, and we send it over to them when they need it for a specified price. With our local accounts, we do basically the same thing. We have products that we have from the manufacturers, and we distribute it to the people when they want it, where they want it. Like Tony Garcia from Avanzari uses the sterling silver beef. We bring the sterling silver beef in, and we actually have in our coolers, we age it for him, where it goes out to him at a minimum of 21 days. Exactly what he wants. And what sterling silver is they use the upper 2/3 of choice. They basically take the best of the best, and then we age it. You cannot get a better steak than sterling silver. It's a great, great brand. Well, one of our groups that comes to the show every 2 years is not here this year. And I asked them when I was at their office in a meeting last week, what do you want me to look for at NRA? They said, catering. We're working on a big catering project. And so they're having a hard time trying to find the items. So that's what my mission is today for that specific group, is catering. We come up for a few things. Number one, we do socialize with our customers, and it's a great time to meet and greet and entertain people outside of our normal venue in Springfield, Missouri, or Wichita, or Little Rock, or St. Louis, wherever they are. So we'll meet our chain accounts here, and also to interact with people from our other Reinhart distribution centers. Reinhart is having an event at a place called Morgan Manufacturing, it's an old warehouse that's been redone into a cutting-edge event facility, and we're doing what's called a plate night. And so what we do is we have chefs and stations set up there, and so there's just a lot of wonderful food that's going to be shown, and of course drinks. It's just a fantastic venue at Morgan Manufacturing. So we're really excited to have hosted that event for our customers.
I mean, there was a time when people would not let you take a photo of a plate of food, and chefs were that kind of standoffish about it. And then all of a sudden, the embracement occurred, and at that point, it was really just a revolution in the food industry. I'm Paul Barron. This is the Foodable Network. Foodable Network is really kind of the idea of bridging the gap between what we think is the food enthusiast, which is kind of this super educated food consumer, and the food pro, which is everything from operators to bartenders to beverage directors, chefs, really innovators in the food service space. What's missing and has been missing for quite some time in the food service media space is kind of the merging of those two. So that's what Foodable Network is all about. We have 10 shows on the network, and the content is really geared toward that pro spin. One of the things that we think is the biggest challenge is telling great stories. This is the problem with our industry. You have Food Inc., Super Size Me. That genre of film kind of challenges what the restaurant industry is about. But you have 14 million people employed in this industry. You have almost 1 million locations just in the United States. It's time that we start telling that story, which is the passion of these chefs, the passion of these operators that have basically spent their life savings to start a brand. This is our festival, and this is the kind of films we're going to show. It's the kind of sessions we're going to do, which is very forward-thinking, a lot of edge. It's a really different spin on how to do a conference, and we think it's kind of a blend between TED and a film festival combined with food. throw some pro guys in there, and voila, you have Foodable I.O. Really what we tried to do with I.O. on the panel selections was look at hottest topics, challenge them all, and throw a bunch of guys that thought differently in one place and let them kind of fight it out. But in reality, what happened was they came together. So it was kind of cool. If you want pro content that's styled on an entertainment level, FoodableTV.com is the place.
I've got a lot of ground to cover today.
I'm Rod Jones, and I am the CEO and creator of Buzz My Server. You know, instead of like waving your hands or yelling, it's like, why not have an app that you can actually press a button and say, I'm ready to order, I need a refill on my drink, or, you know, I'm ready for the check.
There's actually a woman inside the Pepsi machine, a real mixologist that will help you mix your perfect Pepsi.
SKUDAD Technology is a unique presentation vehicle for food and beverage. Turn a $6 Bloody Mary into a $15 Bloody Mary.
Our product name is called Reverse Stab. All you have to do is lock it down, and the beer is coming from the bottom to the top. You don't lose any beer at all.
This is a Hoover commercial cordless vacuum backpack. I love it.
So the Wish Clip is the only birthday candle holder for drinks.
This is Guy Mitchell of the White House Chefs Tour. How often do you get to meet a White House chef?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Patrick McMurray, world champion oyster shucker, Guinness Book of World Records, 38 oysters a minute, 1,114 in an hour. Phew!
This is our brand new item called the Grub Tub. You can eat and drink and have everything in one hand, and you can put it in your seat next to you nice and neatly, and you can walk around with it and no spilling.
Food truck that with a push of a button, the bar comes out and then goes down.
Oh my God, I'm on this machine. Do you love the machine?
I love the machine.
It claims to be a cyber body slimmer, and if I look shaky, it's because I'm standing on one of these. And if I buy the machine, I want the guy to come with it.